Hello everyone, welcome to another episode. In this episode I'll be reviewing Samurai Champloo, this lovely anime right here. Actually, I bought this anime well over a year ago and I've tried to watch it on 3 separate occasions, and for one reason or another I kept getting distracted or I just couldn't keep up with the anime. So, our anime takes place during the Edo period in Japan, which is from 1603 to 1868, I believe. And this period in Japan is characterized by an extreme focus on social control and is recognizable in Japanese period for being a time of economic prosperity. And that's where we find our characters Mugen and Jin, who are really nomads. They're kind of wandering throughout Japan, and they eventually run into one of the other main characters, Fu. And one thing leads to another. Jin and Mugen kill one of the governor's son, and they're about to be executed, but Fu comes in to save the day. And because Mugen and Jin are indebted to Fu for saving their lives, Fu makes them promise to find the samurai who smells of sunflowers. With this in mind, as we go on through Samurai Champloo, we kind of see how these three personalities mix. And we kind of find out they're all different from one another. So, for example, Fu is this kind of klutz. She pretends she is competent to Jin and Mugen, but oftentimes she either gets kidnapped or something happens to the poor girl. And also we have Mugen, who's really this crude guy who has a rough exterior. And compared to Jin, who's really this calm guy who he doesn't really get rattled most of the time, and he really exuberates the true message of traditional martial arts. He's very calm, he's very stoic. And we find out even though these people are very different from one another, they grow a strong bond with one another. And it really proves, with just showing that, it really proves that it doesn't matter how different you are from one another, you can become friends, you can learn to respect one another.
Hey, you all right?
Also, we can really see just how different Jin and Mugen are in particular just based on their martial arts approach. For example, Mugen, he really utilizes a freestyle approach, meaning he doesn't really know himself what technique he's going to attack it with. He really just flies off the seat of his pants. In comparison, Jin, he really is a cold and calculated warrior, meaning he studies his opponent's strengths and weaknesses. And I think this is shown quite exceptionally in the last episode in the anime, where you can see he realizes he is battling a much stronger opponent. So he realizes he must leave an opening within himself to really get a chance to attack his opponent. Now, the ending of the show, it was kind of hollow in a way, because even though well, to me at least, when I was first watching it, now, it was hollow in the sense that even though our main characters lived, which is very good, they just kind of went off in their separate directions. And I can really relate to the viewer who's scratching their head like what happened here? Because there was no emotional departure like we were building up on the show. I think numerous times Fu mentions just how much she didn't want the journey to end, and I can relate to her because I can watch almost 20 more episodes or 100 more episodes of these characters because that's how much likable they actually were. Now, and I was saying to myself, why let such a good thing go? Especially when I was thinking to myself just how poignant this ending was, just how they went off in their separate ways, because this was the Edo period of Japan. I think we kind of gloss over how lucky we are as a society where we have access to technology, where in essence social media, cell phones, Instagram, Facebook, they just kind of make our world smaller. For example, I graduated from college, and even though it's very sad, even though I won't see much of my friends on a daily basis, I can still keep in touch with them with my cell phone, Facebook them, Instagram them, WhatsApp. And Samurai Champloo, that was it. When you see them walk off, there's a strong possibility they won't see each other ever again. And I was thinking to myself, why let such a good thing go? And I was reminded of an article I read of just how hard it is to let go. And even though it's a trait that is revered in our society to persevere through things or just hang on to something, like for example a tough job or a rough relationship, it's really a natural behavior in us to really hold on to the things we cherish and love, or hold on to things because we are too afraid to explore new adventures. And I think you can kind of see the positives of this ending in a way that these three characters just venture off, and they were just so bold and courageous. I like to think of it as ripping off a band-aid. They they just did it. They just went off on their separate paths. That's how I kind of looked at it. But it's very interesting. What do you think about it? What do you think about this aspect of letting go in our lives, or letting go of what we hold and cherish? I know it's very hard for me graduating, just letting go of my peers or just the environment I found so familiar. And it's a tough thing. And I think, thinking about this now in retrospect, I think the ending of Samurai Champloo was an excellent way to end it. Now guys, what do you think? Like and comment. See you later.